What's up? What's up? Philly Uncensored Sports Podcast. Unfortunately, we ain't talking Philly sports, sad to say, but we are talking Golden State, Boston final series. So far, I mean, it lived up to the hype, I guess, at least the first game. But I guess in a sense, it's living up to the hype because it's 1-1 now. Golden State back in the series officially. This was a must-win game for them. They came out, but Boston, I give Boston credit. Boston came out like gangbusters at first, took an early, like an 8-point lead or something like that. Like they was up for a minute. Golden State battled back. It kind of went back. It was very reminiscent of the first half of the first game. Outside of Steph snapping, it was more Tatum's time to do that. But the score was still a 2-point game going into halftime. And then the third quarter, same thing happened. Third quarter, not to this extent, but Golden State blew the lid off and never stopped blowing the lid off. And this time Boston didn't have that fourth quarter of a rise like they did last time. And game over, 1-1.
Yeah, man. Go ahead, Sam.
Oh, you good?
Let's not. Boston, I keep trying to tell everybody. Boston shot phenomenal last game. They shot really well. Al Horford finished tonight with 2 points. Let's just throw that out there. Horford finished with 2. But Boston still shot well.
You mean the boy that Wayne said was going to be the X factors? But go ahead.
Yeah, he finished with 2 points tonight.
Yeah,
but,
and when he played well, they won, and when he stunk, they lost.
I'm trolling.
But you don't really depend on Horford to play well if you don't want to lose, though. It's the they just Golden State, Boston Celtics shoot what they usually shot 40%. That last game, they just went incredibly hot the fourth quarter and blew everything and just smashed the numbers. You had Al Horford was like 6 for 8. Smart was hot. White was hot. Listen, the boy White, you ask me, he's the MVP. He's been consistent through this entire playoffs, offense and defense. He really carries a lot of load for Boston, man. He hits the open shot. He's really a nice player. He's a nice player that them dudes out. But that third quarter, like Sir Wesley said, that third quarter was a difference, man. They just went crazy, and it was nothing Boston can do. So Boston just bowed out, put their bench players in, and said, we won one. We did what we supposed to. Now it's back to Boston. But I think any team can win on any floor in this series right here.
Oh, I agree, and that's why when some people got excited when Boston won the first one and was saying, "This is it's going to be a fight." This is what Boston does. They come out, they play phenomenal one game, and then the next game it's like, what was that? They did the same thing in every round. So you never know what Boston's team is going to show up. They just hope they have, like Ethan said, they shot phenomenal last game, but they shot horrible this game. Other than Tatum,
ain't you that bad? Well,
why ain't you that bad? Marcus Smart 1 for 6. White, the guy you was talking about, was 4 for 13, 30%. Tatum shot their best, and he shot 41%. Like they shot horrible.
From the 3-point 25, line, still 40% from
free throw, field goal shooting. Tatum shot 42%. Horford 25%. Brown 29%. Smart 16%. You're not going to win any game shooting like that. They shot horrible. They shot phenomenal the first game. They shot out, and this time they shot way worse. Well, if you don't want to give Boston credit when they was hitting, I'm saying it go both ways to me. I'm not overstating anything for either way. I'm just saying this is what Boston does. They get hot, and then they go through games where they stink it up. So it's still going to be a tight series. I still think Boston wins in 6. If they don't win in 6, Golden State's going to win it. Golden State in the game 7. This is what Golden State will play like in the game 7, in my opinion. But the young guys for Golden State needed this game. Golden State had their backs against the wall, and they came out and they did what they were supposed to do tonight.
Yeah, I'm reading some of the comments. Tomorrow, I agree that third quarter was that's all. That was the game pretty much. I personally, they could not afford to lose this game. They had to win this game, so they played like their lives depended on it. So it's 1-1. I didn't expect Horford to play as bad as he played today. He only had 2 points. I mean, giving me 26 to the other game. Now you give me 2 points. There got to be some happy medium in there. He got to give me at least 10, 12, like what he was averaging already throughout the entire playoffs. But 2 was just unacceptable. But I mean, they did what they were supposed to do. They supposed to come in and win the games to get that split, and they got that split. So
how long is Williams out for? Is Williams out for good? If Williams is out, because I think he takes a lot of pressure off of Horford. Horford, that's what I'm saying. Horford is a role player type. He's not the boy to carry that load no more.
Williams was playing. He was playing.
Mr. Wayne.
Yeah, but he got hurt.
He got hurt by Smart falling into
in the third quarter.
But he still played a little bit.
In the third quarter, he got hurt.
I know, but
they did take him out once the route got on. So I don't know if he's like out because he hurt or out because
right.
But I mean, to Wayne's point, he's been limping since the Miami series. Game 7, he was limping up and down the court, and he never looked good to me, even in the first game.
When they took everybody out though, at that point when they started running, when they started getting routed, everybody came out. They gave up on this game early. They was like, all right, it's a wrap. We're not even gonna try. He bitched them maybe 1-2 minutes into the fourth quarter. Nobody played
because you was down 30. You was down 30. Why risk getting anybody hurt at this point?
I see that, but I'm just saying. I think he took him out the game not because he was injured. He's hurt, but I don't think he's injured.
Okay.
I'll be shocked. I'll be shocked if Boston win another game this series.
Get ready to be shocked on Wednesday.
Boston's going to win Wednesday night.
They're going to win Wednesday night.
I'm telling you right now.
They're not winning Wednesday.
I'm going on record. And I said this to y'all the other day, right? We was talking, let everybody know, or everybody listening, when we was talking personally, I said, you know what, now that I think about it, I can see a gentleman's sweep happening in this series. And I said, all right, everybody talked about
that first.
Huh? Yeah, okay. No, you might have said that. I think I said it first, but you might have said it first. But I'll give you this one. But I can't. And the reason why me and Ethan is maybe right. I'm not gonna say we are right. Maybe right. Everybody talked about Tatum not having a good game in the first game, and the reason why they won the first game, like I said, they went in fuego in the fourth quarter. Them boys hit like 7 threes in 3 minutes. That was unheard of, right? This game, Wiggins didn't play well offensively. Klay Thompson was off. I mean, bad. You finally had Jordan Poole step up a little bit. Curry still saying he actually had a less effective game offensively, but he still did his thing. And they still completely routed the Celtics. That's what Wiggins going 33%, 4 for 12, and Klay Thompson going 4 for 19, 21%. Now, granted, Steph Curry did his thing. He was 5 for 12. Poole was 5 for 9. He ain't going to shoot that well. Even if he shot 3 for 9, it still would have been a rout. But even with that being the case, they blew the doors off of Boston. Everybody forget Boston was the number 1 ranked defense, but people forget that Golden State was the number 2 ranked defense and one of the best offenses. When you put them all together, they got one of the best offenses in the game. They when they get hot, can't nobody stop them. And one of their best shooters wasn't even hot. So can you imagine if Klay even give you half production? Like, this was terrible tonight.
We can't imagine Klay's not going to get Wait. Don't. First of all, the refs helped them out tremendously because Draymond Green should have been ejected in a normal game. Draymond gets ejected. They pretty much saved them this game because they saved him. You know good and well.
You know I ain't going that route.
Yeah. Thank you.
It would have been a double technical.
Thank you, Wayne.
I know he already had a technical, and it should have been a double tech, and they didn't call it because they're like, we can't let this bull got the game, and they pretty much was giving them home cooking. Which can you get destroy the series?
Marcus Smart's one of the two-way players had 2 points tonight. I was actually talking to Darrell, today about the game, and he was he was trying to tell me how.
Did he tune in? If you don't tune in, don't mention his name. No.
Marcus Smart. He was trying to say how Marcus Smart was, how great of a scorer he was in college. I said, but he's not known for scoring in the league. Yeah, he have to concentrate on. He focused. He put his game in to concentrate on defense. You got 5-6 years in the league to concentrate on defense. Yeah, you practice, but it's different than in game time. You're not just going to come up all of a sudden and drop 30. Marcus Smart is what he is. We seen him when he tried to create some offense. He was turning the ball over and looking bad. He has to play in the flow of the game. That's what happened in game 1. It was in the flow of the game. Everybody was hot. Ball was getting swung. He was open, bang, bang, three. I think he banged 2 long threes, too. First of all, he's not known as a three-point shooter. Marcus Smart is a nice player, but when he's called upon to do too much, like create and score, he's not going to be able to do it. Once you see him start doing that, the game's over for Boston.
Jamar, I like this. Y'all keep saying the Celtics only won because they got hot in game 1. I keep forgetting they also locked down Golden State.
How they locked down Golden State?
This is my thing about that though. You can't overhype one and then dismiss the other. That's why I'm saying I've been trying to be balanced with both of it because you're saying Boston will never shoot that much. Boston's not going to shoot this horrible every game either. In the first game, Boston, I just read you their numbers. They stunk. They stunk.
They shot 40% from the field as a team and 40%. My point is this. My point was this. This is what Golden State 40%
from the field good.
Hold on. This is my point. This is what Golden State does consistently. These are almost the same numbers they had the first game.
Boston does this consistently. They did it the whole last series. They ball out one game and then they stink the next. That's why they series win 7 games against Miami. I'm not saying Boston's the better team. All I'm saying is Boston's not just. This is how they play. This is what they do. They're erratic.
Listen, let's be clear about this.
My point is, in order for them to win games, they have to play a great fourth quarter like they did game 1, because this is how Golden State plays consistently. They just showed you 2 games in a row. Their numbers are pretty much consistent game in and game out. 40% from 3. 47, 48% from the field. The same thing they had first game. Boston just shot 50 and 50 from the field and from 3. And what I'm saying is, in order for Boston to win, they have to do that game in and game out.
I don't agree.
I absolutely agree with that. And that's the point I was trying to make to the Jamar. Boston, wasn't Boston down 15 points? Or was it 13 points going into the fourth quarter? So where was they strapping Golden State offensively? It wasn't no strapping going on. Golden State just when Boston, you know how a team get hot and then you start forcing some shots because you try to force your way back into the game. That's what Golden State tried to do, and that's why they started missing in the fourth quarter, because Boston just got so crazy hot. The only thing they could do to counteract that was to try to jacket hit some threes, and they didn't make the threes that they would shoot. But it wasn't no strapping really going on by Boston. I didn't see that. They didn't strap Curry the 2 games in a row now. They trying to use every defense. It was one game. It was 4 people on Curry. 4 people only when he drove, and he dished to Looney, Kevon Looney right there to left. And let's give that man some credit too. I don't think we're not giving Curry enough credit for how great of a player this dude is. Offensively, defensively, the whole 9. He on another level right now, man. He doing everything he needs to get his team to victory, and we're gonna stop hating on this man, bro. Even from a defensive standpoint, he strapped the bull. Al Horford down low, Al Horford strapped up.
Yeah, he did a good job.
It was good to see Al Horford play terrible. It was
36-year-old man. He really strapped him up real good. I mean, props to him.
I got no love for Al Horford.
Al Horford is 6'10", 6'11", and Curry 6'3", and he strapped him. That was crazy. And then he strapped the white ball.
That was the Sixers Al Horford we saw tonight. That was the Sixers Al Horford.
Yes, it was. Yes, it was.
Sixers gave up Al Horford. You see what Al Horford doing? Like, don't fall into that. Ain't gonna be the everyday Al Horford. But I mean, that being said, I still think that this is going to be. I don't think the series is over. I still think it's a tough series. Same way I thought in game 1. You got 2 teams. They both here for a reason. They both at the championship level, at the title level game series for a reason. Boston going to be home. Usually role players play better at home, but who knows with Boston? Because sometimes Boston stink at home and play well on the road. Who knows with Boston? For real, they like a wild card team. So, but I do agree with y'all. Golden State is the more consistent team. But Boston have shown when they can get in stretches where they just, can blow teams out the water. But
let me ask y'all this.
They got to find a medium for that.
I'm still concerned about the bull Klay Thompson, though, because the bull Klay, they're going to need him, a big game from him. Like, they kept him in the game late trying to get a feel for him. But he's struggling. I don't know.
I think that was unnecessary.
Say it again. I don't know.
Well, I think it was unnecessary to keep him in the game. I mean, listen.
I think he wanted to stay in the game.
If you got a bad game, you got a bad game. You just try, but listen, only thing that's gonna help you, you're gonna go in the gym, you're gonna practice, you're gonna get your shots up, you're gonna come back next game and try to do better.
He was 4 of 19. That is wicked terrible.
He took some bad shots too. He was forcing a lot. You just got to settle down and do what he started doing. Listen, go to the hole, pump fake, go to the hole, and try to get the foul.
But this is where I tried, and I agree with you. I mean, I think it was a good idea to try to keep him in and try to get some rhythm. Clay is a game-to-game player, though. Once he kind of off, and he might hit some shots. I don't care how long you leave him in, he gonna be breaking. I think we've seen about Clay, and then the next game, game 3. If Clay go off game 3, it's a wrap. I'm telling y'all right now. If Clay go off game 3, Boston losing. And if Boston loses game 3, they will lose in 5. I'm telling you right now. But I will say this too about Curry. I know Jamar Oliver trying to say, Curry defense terrible. It's not every people. Ethan's just said
Curry
the stat.
Played great defense tonight.
He played great defense. Like Ethan showed the stat for Golden State's team. Curry actually, for the players he defended, had the best defense on players he defended so far in the playoffs. His was lower than Draymond Green's. But granted, he's not covering the best player all the time. I will say that. But it still says a lot about his defense. Curry plays defense. He's active. He's nonstop. He ain't I'm a block your shot kind of dude, but he gonna make things difficult for you as you seen he did tonight.
Hey, Mr. Wing. No, we're not cool with light skin guards struggling to shoot.
Listen, how'd y'all like the refereeing tonight? It wasn't a lot of. I think Golden State shot 20 free throws and Boston shot 17 or something. How do y'all like the how y'all think?
I think they had to start making calls because both teams was playing physical, and I that's what I do respect about Golden State. Golden State came out and said y'all not just going to come out here and try to intimidate us. Draymond did Draymond things, and I'm not mad at him. That's his role on the team, to stir stuff up, to get in there, getting guys' heads a little bit, and Draymond did his job. So
we need to
we'll see. It's a game-to-game thing. We're gonna see what happens in the next game. But Golden State did what they had to do. They came in, they put the smack down, they handled business. They showed, like we were saying, they got to show Steph some help. You saw them getting help from all over the place.
Help tonight.
Everybody was hitting them open shots.
And Boston didn't do that because we was missing. I'm saying we, but they was
see, look at Tim.
They was missing Grant Williams. I haven't seen him in the first 2 games, to be honest with you. He was bombs away on the first 2 rounds. And Jaylen Brown it's an argument to make that he's the best player on the team. I know everybody say that Jason Tatum is, but I like Jaylen Brown's game. And unfortunately he needed a little bit more help tonight, and he didn't get it at all.
Tatum was balling tonight.
Tatum was
Tatum
balled in the first half.
I'm about to say that.
He balled in the first half. He had like 5 3-pointers in the first half. He did well. But the second half, he was kind of quiet.
Jordan Poole, though. My goodness.
Jordan
he goes from great play to bonehead play, like, and back-to-back.
Plays.
Yes, it's crazy to watch. Like, why would you just do something like that? The freedom he has a lot of freedom. The words I guess the coaching staff, they trust him a lot. He has
I think they're not trusting him in this game because if you think about it,
you see the shots he was taking.
Right here, listen. The first
stuff he was doing on the court, look like he was at Bowhouse to play around. Stuff he was doing out there.
The first 3 quarters of the game, he only played 10 minutes out the entire game. Those first 3 quarters. What happened was they had him on the bench when they was making that run. When Golden State was making that run,
he was in the game.
They wasn't here. They was up by 15. When he came back in the game when they was up 15, and then he hit them big 2 3-pointers, and they had a nice assist. But the game was already in hand. Curry had him on the bench the entire time. He came in at 1:19 left in the 3rd quarter. Prior to that, he only played 10 minutes the entire game. They pulled him back this game and then let him get off towards the end.
He had the most turnovers on the team with 3.
Yeah, but he only played. If you look at the first 3 quarters, he only played 10 minutes. Kerr held him back today. Because they saw something on tape they probably didn't like.
They saw that when Boston top defenders was in there, he couldn't do anything.
Yeah, and that's why they kept him up.
The Marcus Smarts and the Tatums was in there, they was really strapping Poole up.
Like when he hit like that 90-foot 3-pointer, the game was well in hand. They was up. The game was already pretty much out.
That 3 was crazy though. That was the dagger that ended the 3rd quarter.
It did.
That was
Yeah. That
was
was the one that kind of was like, yeah, it's a wrap. Like,
yeah.
no matter what y'all gonna do, we hitting it like that. This ain't your night.
Steph
Yeah.
looked proud too.
That, but that also kind of goes to Boston. That mindset. I get it that you're professional and you're supposed to be playing, but you just won the first game on their floor. So when Golden State come out, it's like then Boston, you're trying to fight back, you're trying to get that edge on them, but Golden State kept smacking them back down. And then at a certain point, it's like, we split. Let's pack it up. Let's come back to our house.
Yeah.
I mean, that's how the mentality be sometimes. So we'll see. Game three is going to be very big. Like, what Boston are we going to see? And is Golden State going to play with that same consistency on the road? They have, but we going to see.
Yeah, Boston's infamous. I mean, Golden State's infamous for taking road games. I mean, obviously
Boston is too, though.
I'm about to say Boston has been doing the same thing as well. They took game one, so you can't say that that they not. But I just think game one for me was so different. It was so historic of a win. They scored 40 points. We talked about this. They scored 40 points in the fourth quarter. That only happened twice or the third time in 40 years. So I don't see that happening again ever in this series. I don't see them scoring that much and dominating like that. So I honestly believe it's just like Mr. Wing, just like Ethan. I believe it's a very strong chance Boston will not win another game. I'm telling you, because just the way that and some of the things that y'all saying, they have been very inconsistent. And even with them getting blown out this game like they did, it wasn't like everybody on Golden State was clicking. You had two starters who played offensively suspect. Wiggins was grabbing offensive rebounds. He was hustling.
You can say the same thing about Boston.
But Boston's
clicking. Nobody was.
But Boston starters, how much do Smart average throughout the playoffs? 15 or something? Like,
no, they don't even average that much. No,
that's what I'm saying. So you talking about Boston starters who rarely score? They up and down anyway. These scores I'm talking about with Wiggins and Clay, at least Wiggins for the most part, has been pretty much consistent with giving.
All right. Okay, this is what you're not going. This is it. Look at their starting lineup today. Boston, Jason Tatum had 28 points.
Smart. Let me see what he
had 2 points. Rock Williams had 2 points, and Marcus Smart had 2 points.
Marcus Smart averaged 15. I'm sorry.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. You got three of their starters had 2 points. You're not going to get that the next game.
That's
starters had 3 points. Had 2 points for the entire game.
I don't.
And that's my point about when you're playing at home. Is the rule of thumb is when you're playing at home, your role players step up and play better. We seen Golden State tonight at home. Even when some of their starters were struggling, their role players stepped up and balled out. It just was surprising that in the first game, Boston role players stepped up. And that was the difference in that. But usually at home, it's your role players that step up. So you might mess around and see Pritchard go off for like a stretch in the next game. You know what I'm saying? Like somebody you don't really think going to do nothing, because that's how it usually goes. But I think both teams had starters that were struggling in their losses.
Hey, Jamar Oliver, you're right. And you're wrong, because I do want Boston. I do want Golden State. I mean, I'm rooting for Golden State. I would love to see them winning 5, but it ain't necessarily what I'm looking at. Like when after game 1, I was kind of reactionary, and I'm like, man, this thing probably goes 6-7 games. I still pick Golden State. I wasn't turning like some people did, but I was like, listen, I still think Golden State could win. But then after I ruminated, I mean, think deeply upon something. After I let it ruminate in my mind for a minute, I said, you know what? It's a wrap. I said, if Golden State win 2, it's over. And it depends on how they win. Now that I've seen tonight, this is how I honestly feel. It's not going off my heart. It's just what I'm seeing on the court. Ethan said it perfectly. Golden State did what they normally do. This is what they do. Boston had to have an historic type of game to win game 1. I don't see that happening again.
But this, to Tim's point about talking about the stars going down for the playoffs, Tatum is averaging 26. Brown is averaging 23. Horford is averaging 12, and Marcus Smart is averaging 15. And Grant Williams, to like Tim said, where's he at? He's averaging almost 10. So we talking about these the guys that have been their leading scorers in the playoffs. Marcus Smart just stumped offensively tonight. What he had 2 points. Yeah. So I mean, and Horford, I mean, mind you, the first game he was out of pocket with the scoring, but this game, I mean, what did he have this game? He's usually getting 12. What he had this game. So they had starters that was off too. That's why I said it could go either way. I agree with Ephraim. It could be either way, any night. So that's why I think it was big for Boston to win that first game on Golden State floor, because could you imagine if Golden State had won the first game and then came back and smacked them like this in the second game? Oh, it'd be a sweep real easy.
Yeah.
So
And
I mean, we
Jamar,
got a series.
Jamar, you asked the question. You said, so why y'all not addressing Boston turning the ball over in every other possession? That was key. That was key. They had 18. They scored 18 points off 11 turnovers in the first half. I mean,
did you see what Golden State did differently? You see how far Draymond came out on Al Horford. You see how far they came out on their shooters. You see how much they trapped them, how much they pressured them. A lot of them turnovers wasn't just because Boston was just playing sloppy. Golden State was actually pressuring the ball consistently. Even Wiggins was coming further out on Brown, coming further out on Tatum. Horford didn't have them looks. Horford didn't get one open shot all night. Not one. They
didn't take 1 3 all night either.
If you listen to Draymond podcast, he kind of alluded to that without trying to give up game plan. He kind of said, listen, we let them get a lot of open looks. That's not going to happen again. And they didn't. So I'm not saying how Horford going to have two again.
It's called adjustments now. Now they got to adjust.
Right.
Their adjustment.
Absolutely. I agree.
Right. But we've seen Boston.
But I'm saying
we've seen Boston do this throughout the playoffs where they get down and then they get blown by 20, 30 points.
We talking about
Jason Tatum was a negative 36 tonight.
That was most in his career.
But
we're talking about specifically the turnovers. One of the reasons they had high turnovers is Golden State pressured that ball. They forced them into bad passes.
Hey, Mr. Wing, as a Sixers fan, I don't want Boston to win. I'm not. I really don't. I honestly would rather see Golden State win because I'd like to see the solidification of their dynasty because it shows. And I think at some point, if they do win and it shows how great their dynasty is, I also think that gives you more. It should give you more respect for LeBron going up against them over those years. But that being said, I'm just looking at I have no horse in this. I really don't care for either team, but I respect both teams. I just think that Boston can win the series. I don't think that it's a foregone conclusion that Golden State will win it.
Curry had three steals.
I'm rooting for Boston to win, even though it is a violation. It's a few violations. Like it's a violation to root for the Cowboys or Boston.
And Tim did both. Tim rooted for both of them at some point in his life.
Or the Lakers, or buy a cheesesteak from Geno's or Jim's.
Right.
You just don't do that. Because you can get a cheesesteak from any hood place around the way. You don't go
and for the record, the Warriors do have a good. I think we talked about this even going into the series. I know at least Ephraim and I have talked about this numerous times before. To my Golden State don't get enough credit for being a great defensive team. Even when they had KD and they was winning championships with him and even leading up before him, they've always been a tough defensive team and a deep, tough defensive team. And that's what put them over the other teams that would have these highest power scoring. Like when he went against Harden in Houston and they had this high power offense, they didn't have the defense that Golden State had.
I agree. Golden State was number 2 ranked defense in the league. They actually had the same points a game per game that Boston allowed, which was like 106.9. Golden State was tied with Boston for the same exact thing. That's what I'm saying. So people acting like this is why I feel Golden State will win. Their defense is almost mirror on with Boston. Boston probably is slight. I will give Boston definitely a slight advantage defensively, but offensively, Golden State is better when they click it. Now, I do agree with Wayne when he was saying, as regards the 1-2 players, I do feel that Boston has Tatum and Green. They're better than
Tatum and Brown.
You got
the colors mixed.
Tatum and Brown. They're better than if you put Curry and Clay right now where Clay is at. Unless Poole playing like this. If Poole plays like this, then there's a different conversation because Curry is better than both Brown and Tatum. But then when you talk about the second player, Wiggins, I would give an edge to Brown, or if you say Clay, I would give an edge to Brown as well, if you want to say he's the second player. But as regards entire team, if you muted, as an entire team, when they start getting going, they start splashing, it's a wrap. And I told y'all GP3 was a better play than Iggy. I don't know why they gave Iggy 12 minutes last time. That to me,
I don't think any of us was arguing that point.
Did Iggy get any burn tonight?
I ain't seen him get no burn tonight.
I think they helped him out.
I think he was a scratch tonight.
Yeah,
somebody asked the question of why we didn't talk about Boston having on turnover. You know why Boston had them? Oh, somebody mentioned, I think Ephraim did, about them pressuring the ball. But you have to remember, Boston don't really have a point guard. If you watch that Boston team, they play point guard by committee.
That's true.
So they don't have a legitimate.
Marcus Smart is that unofficial.
He's not really a point guard.
But that's what he's
not
saying.
Really a point guard.
That's the point.
That's the role he plays. Like James Harden is our point guard. He's not a point guard.
James Harden is a point guard.
James Harden's a
I mean, for real, like Golden State don't. Steph is a point guard, but you like at times Draymond controls the ball and instigates the offense.
Jordan Poole controls the ball. You have real legitimate ball handlers.
And Draymond, and keep it a beam, Draymond is probably one of the best passers. He's a better passer than Smart. I would much rather have Draymond. And I'm saying,
like 5 turnovers tonight.
I'm not saying Smart is not a good passer, but Draymond is superior to Smart. I would much rather have Draymond conducting my offense than Smart. I'd much rather have Draymond conducting my offense than a lot of point guards out there for real. The only time Draymond get goofy is when he try to dribble all the way up the court too much. But when he get in the half court setting and they start moving and throwing pick and rolls, he's a great passer of the ball in that half court setting.
You have to continue. Golden State has though, and you have to continue to press the ball. You have to make these dudes make decisions. Like I said, they don't have a true point guard. That's why White plays a lot, even though he's a great shooter. But he brings the ball up too. Sometimes they get to put the ball in his hands, help make decisions. But they don't have when they starting unit is not a legitimate point guard.
And you're right about pressing the ball because that also gets it. Whereas though you'll have more possessions where it's later in the shot clock, and then you have Tatum having to try to create something with a couple of seconds left because Golden State did a good job of pressuring the ball up top, and so Boston had to press to get it up there. And then when they did get it up there, you're into the shot clock now because they pressed the ball coming up the court. It was a great defensive strategy by Golden State, and they executed it.
They did.
I definitely like Boston because of the way they lost today. I definitely like Boston on Wednesday night. They're gonna go on there.
I mean,
you know what that? Because the way they lost today. I mean,
because they lost today, they're gonna be really into it. I'm telling you, they're gonna really come out and they're gonna be like gangbusters. I guarantee you.
That's like I felt the same way about Golden State in game 1. For this game, I felt it was no way Golden State was gonna lose this game. I thought they was gonna come out and play aggressive.
You're not gonna tell me you're gonna get 3 starters with 2 points again ever in a series.
I can see that. Al Horford's not an offensive juggernaut. I can see him getting 2 again in the series.
Al Horford's averaging double digits this entire playoffs. Today,
yeah, he's been playing against hurt teams and hurt defensive lineups the whole time.
I mean, ho. His matchup was Giannis. He matched up against Giannis in the last in that series against Milwaukee, and he was holding his own.
Exactly. So stop.
I mean, defensively he's good, but
I mean even you didn't see 1 or 2 of them games when he was actually going at Giannis and dunking on him and going at him.
Yeah, one game like that.
Okay, listen, y'all could. I keep telling. How many times I keep telling you that Draymond Green is the best defensive player in the NBA? He's been the best defensive player for the last 10 years. So now Giannis is a great defensive player. I know he won the defensive MVP award and all that kind of stuff like that. Draymond Green, in my opinion, has been the best defensive player for the last 10 years in the NBA. And now Al Horford is going against that dude. That's the dude he got to go. And when Draymond wanted to strap him, he strapped him. Now, is he going to have this energy to strap him every night like that in the 17th series? If it go that far, I mean, we'll have to see. But Draymond got defense, bro. And when he want to strap, he going to get the strap. But
hey, Jamar says, so what's going to be the Curry twins' excuse when the Warriors lose game 3? Listen, I'll tell you what excuse is not going to. Yeah, it's going to be the refs, and I guarantee you, Ephraim will not say it was Steph Curry's fault. I guarantee you, no matter what, Ephraim will not blame Steph Curry if they lose.
If Curry have a bad game, I definitely say it.
You won't. You know what you'll say? See, Steph got to get some help because they were triple teaming Steph, so he couldn't get his shot off, or it'll be some reason the other teammates ain't helping Steph.
He'll blame Aisha before he'll blame.
Yes, I would. Absolutely. Listen, first of all, let's keep it clear though. This is where honestly Bulls don't get. Steph he incredible player, bro. Like he's on another level. He, for the most part, he may do some bonehead plays sometimes and be like, yo, why you do that? But he ain't really have a consistently bad games throughout this playoffs and consistently throughout his career. Though every time somebody talk about Steph a bad game, you know where they go to when they talk about bad playoff games for Steph? They go back to 6 years. To 2016 and talk about the 3 games he played against Cleveland when LeBron went off and they started double teaming him and they had Kevin Love and Tristan around. That's what people go back to. Like, you can't find bad games consistently that Steph has had in the playoffs. You may find some bad plays where he did dumb stuff, But he on another level. This is why I keep saying this. I don't think Bulls appreciate how great he really is until it's all said and done with. But to answer whatchamacallit real quick, Jamar, I didn't say Draymond was better than Giannis. I said he's a better defensive player, in my opinion, than Giannis. He is the best. Did you see Draymond guarding?
Draymond is not. He actually said Draymond is not a better defender than Giannis.
See, that's crazy. Did you see Draymond on the 3-point line guarding Tatum and Brown? Like this, you think Bede and Giannis could do? They could do that maybe here and there. Draymond was consistently running out to the 3, guarding Tatum and Brown, and smart and plucking their pockets. Draymond is he's a great defensive player. He's the best defensive player in the NBA, and he's been that for a while.
If Embiid was strictly playing defense and not worried about no offense, Embiid would do the same.
Exactly.
Yo, I gotta give White credit for Boston, man. He offense and defense. He played really good defense on Poole, Curry. He got a couple blocks, steals. He's
nice.
Really
He's
underrated. I guess he's getting this. He got given the props now. He's playing in the finals, but he
listen, that is Ethan's real hair. He grew back. He don't got no man wig and nothing like that. So I said, how you get your hair back so quick?
I told him he was premature and cutting it off anyway. But listen, I could tell Jamar don't like Jamar.
I know you're happy, but quick question.
I just want to respond to the comments that I'm saying because Jamar Oliver saying, "Come on, Curry averaged 23 against the Mavs." We clearly see Jamar don't like Curry. He's probably a LeBron fan, and remember it was that point where they were saying Curry was better than LeBron, and all the LeBron fans got salty. I'm never one who said that. I feel LeBron is possibly, in my mind, LeBron is the best overall player ever to play in the NBA ever. However, it's LeBron, then it's Curry, and you talk about Curry. They beat the Mavs in 5. Curry didn't need to go off against the Mavs. They beat him in 5. Yeah, that was a struggle of a series. Now against Boston, who was supposed to be the best defense in the NBA, he's averaging 30 right now. This dude is different, man. Y'all gonna appreciate him when it's all said and done with what he does at 6'3". The way he dominates games is a whole different type of thing.
Height doesn't matter when you talk about the better player. What, in my opinion, if you're a better player, you're a better player.
No, I agree. That's why I always say.
Yang. Oh, come on, man. JG. Yo, come on, JG Yang. You gotta be.
Yeah, Curry not top 10. What you saying? Not top 10? Wait. Are you saying not top 10 all time, or are you saying not top 10 right now in the league?
He's saying all time. I think.
First of all,
Curry, he might not be top 10 all time yet.
Who said Curry over Jordan?
Wait, let me jump in. First of all, he may be averaging 30, but he had 21 points in the first half last game and only scored 4 points the last 3 quarters of the game. So he only scored 12 points.
Only 4 points.
At 12,
he only played 30 minutes tonight.
No, I'm talking about last game. He's trying to make it seem like he's been dominant. He hasn't been dominant. He had one great quarter, and he had a subpar performance the last 3 quarters of last game. You just looking at the 30, but he only scored 4 points a quarter.
You want to score 21 every quarter? Y'all boys are unbelievable, man.
Well, I mean, in all fairness, because you did kind of allude to about Tatum saying how Tatum got off to it, then started saying how he was getting strapped in the second half. So I mean, it go the same way though. But I agree with you. To me, you got to take the whole game into consideration. I don't care if somebody's off a little. It's a law of averages. What are you averaging in the game?
And he didn't lead his team. He struggled in the second quarter, third quarter, fourth quarter.
No. Mr. Wayne, let me clarify that. I meant Curry's the second best player in this era. After like in this plan right now, it's LeBron and Curry. All time is the best overall player. LeBron. You can argue who's the best, like who you feel just your number one, who you would pick number one if you're Jordan. I mean, that could be argued, in my opinion. I don't like to argue errors. There's too many variables and errors. But in this era, LeBron is definitely number one. I feel that he is the most complete all-around player in NBA history when it comes to rebounding, passing, defense, the whole nine. I think LeBron is the most complete NBA player I've ever seen. But he's two in this era right now.
Mr. Wayne said, "I'm just glad it's not much flopping in the finals." And this goes back. We've seen Embiid flop the entire playoffs, just falling all over the place. I haven't seen that on neither one of even the last few series. I haven't seen all that falling on every possession, getting hurt, injuring your own self. So this is like refreshing watching NBA basketball right now.
I agree.
I got Curry over.
Thank goodness Miami is gone.
I got Curry over KD right now.
Oh, Curry been over KD for a while. Been telling.
And I agree with you. I got Curry over KD too. Herbert said if Curry wins this title, he's top 10 all time. I agree. I agree.
I could
Herbert.
agree
If
with
you
that.
want to
Somebody
tell
got to
it
get
right now,
bumped.
yes.
Somebody got to
You
get
gotta-
bumped.
you gotta-
I got to go
yes,
through the list
in the
and see.
conversation.
I got to go through the list and see.
Somebody got to get bumped if he wins. I don't care about no list. What this dude is doing is next level. Somebody gonna have to get bumped. And by the way,
I mean, all right, I get what you're saying. You're saying what he's doing is next level, but other guys on the list was next level at their time too.
not to this level.
Then he took it to another level. It's all you can
Not-
always. Yo,
not to
why
this
people act like you?
So you put
can't,
him over Shaq? You put him over Kareem? Magic? You put him Shaq, Kareem, Magic? You put him over all them?
He probably
got one
bumping
chip.
Duncan. He
He got
probably
one
bumping
chip.
Tim
He's
Duncan.
not over KD, and I agree with that.
He bumping Duncan off the list.
Tim Duncan?
You crazy?
He bumping Duncan off.
You crazy? You out your
Duncan's in,
I'm not
Duncan's
the
in top
biggest
10?
Tim Duncan fan, but
Duncan's in top 10. See,
No.
this is a whole nother.
but that's
vibe.
that's why I'm saying I gotta look at
Crazy.
who's top 10. I have sometimes we get caught up in, and I'm saying it's a debatable topic of putting stuff up there, but I gotta look and see who's on the top 10 that you're
I know
gonna knock
Mr. Wing ain't
off
hard
right
on him
now.
because he light skinned and short. People can't
Tim Duncan got
fathom
10
somebody.
He got 5 titles. He got 5 titles.
Yeah.
And
He had a great coach and he had a great team. Averaged 17 points a game.
so
for his
does
career.
Curry. And so does
Curry has
Yeah.
a great team too.
He averaged 17 points a game for his career.
It was the most. It
It was the most dynamic 17 points you've ever seen. Yeah, I'm sure. He's a great player. I'm not hating on him. He's a great player, but he's not better than I'm not.
So that's all. So that's all we count is just scoring points. We don't count nothing else.
No, he's a
great
good on
defender.
defense. All that. Steph Curry.
Defense, rebounding.
Steph Curry rebounds. He assists. We just saw tonight. Everybody say he don't play defense. The stats say different, and the game says different. He led the league in steals one year. That says different, but nobody.
I'm not putting him over Tim Duncan yet.
AI led the league in steals before, and we saw what kind of defense he played.
But did you see the night when Curry played when he strapped up Horford?
That was a good possession that he did on the 30.
No, but on some real, I'm not saying Curry.
That was a good possession,
I'm
and
not
I won't
gonna
take that away from him at all.
I'm not going to argue he's a great defensive player, but
Yeah, how about that, Jamar? Larry Bird. How do you forget about Larry Bird? I guess you put him over Isaiah Thomas now.
I didn't say I put him over. I said Tim Duncan's coming off the list. Most people got Tim Duncan in their top 10. I said I'm putting him over Tim Duncan. Is that, did I stutter?
No, I'm
You
just
should.
thinking about all the names that's
You should.
popping up. There's a lot of names on that top 10 list.
It is, and they're great players. And Steph Curry's on another level. For a lot of them. His ball handling skills, his shooting, his finishing at the basket, his assists. He is by far. You could all them top 10 players you name as name all the guards you name. None of them never got defended like Curry. None of them. I watch all of them. I watch Isaiah. I watch somebody said AI. I don't know if he's in top 10. Magic, great player. I never saw them get defended like they defend Steph Curry. And he still gives you 26, 27 points a game every night, and he averaging 30 in the series.
Bird used to get defended like that.
And this is
nobody.
a good point.
Nobody.
Tim Duncan is probably the greatest power forward ever to play the game.
Yes.
Steph is not the greatest shooting guard to ever play the game.
You could argue Tim Duncan's a power forward. People always just assume I don't put
Steph
Tim Duncan
is
as
the greatest
power forward.
shooter to ever play the game.
I'm saying,
He
guard,
absolutely the greatest shooter.
Guard. He's not even the greatest.
So hold on, you mean to tell me the greatest? Because you got these dudes that's the greatest this, the greatest that, they all in these top, right? So you mean to tell me the greatest shooter ever is not top 10?
Who is all these other guys you saying is the greatest? That's something that's in the top 10.
Michael Jordan's the greatest scorer ever, right?
Okay, that's scoring. Okay,
he's in top 10. You got Wilt.
Mike also played, got skills and played defense.
Score, rebound. Wilt.
Yeah, but you said scoring and rebounding. Okay.
So,
but I'm saying it's nobody. It's no. Dennis Rodman is considered one of the greatest rebounders. Ain't nobody saying Dennis Rodman in the top 10 because that's all he did was just do the rebounding. Like I don't. It's nobody. Do they say you or they right? But I'm saying if we're talking about top 10, we don't say well, dude was the greatest defender and rebounder in the league. Dennis Rodman, he's automatically top 10. No, we don't say that just because he dominates one field.
So what makes Tim Duncan automatic top 10?
All around player, a team leader, all that.
Great defender. I mean, didn't he win?
Just because you're an all around player makes you a top 10 player. Is he the
he led the team.
He got 5.
He led the team. He got a lot of clutch moments in the playoffs.
He didn't lead the team. He only led the team like maybe 2 of those.
I'm not talking about leading in scoring. I'm talking about being the team leader. Like he was the engine for that team.
I mean, he had David Robinson for one of them, right?
Yeah, and David Robinson couldn't do squat. David Robinson had Larry Brown as his coach and had Dennis Rodman as his power forward and still got mopped in the playoffs. Yeah. And then when Tim Duncan came in as a young boy and he took him there,
Do you think
he was
Tim
the piece
Duncan
to put him up
without David Robinson?
I don't know, but he did it when David Robinson left, and one more without David Robinson.
I'm talking about with the same team David Robinson had without.
I don't know. He might have. All I know is he won with David Robinson and then won without him.
Can I finish?
The same way Steph Curry won with and without KD.
Can I finish what I'm saying?
Barely won.
Good Lord. KD. I mean, you make a point to ask a question, then nobody get to answer it. All I'm saying is Duncan is a great player. I'm not hating on Duncan, but you can't say Rodman was a great rebounder. So if Ethan says Curry's a great 3-point shooter, he's the best, then Rodman should be in the top 10. You can't make that equation because Steph. I know what you're saying. I'm not saying you. I understand what you're saying.
I only said that because your brother said
I know what you're
because
saying.
somebody's the greatest at one thing, they on the top 10.
Rodman wasn't the greatest rebounder ever, though.
Can I finish?
No, because you take it too long.
No, because you're not listening. My point is Curry is not just the greatest shooter. He's also one of the greatest ball handlers in the game. He's also a great scorer. He's also a great passer of the ball. He does a lot well. He's also one of the greatest defensive mismatches in history where you send 2 or 3 people at him to try to stop him. He does a number of things great. It's not.
I'll give you the greatest shooter. Everything else is relative.
His scoring is his shooting.
But he scores.
Yeah, because he shoots.
And he scores. No, he scores mid-range. He could go to the hole and finish. He could do everything. You act like he's just like some which we call Kyle Korver or JJ Redick who just pulls up and shoots. Curry actually he's
JJ Redick on steroids.
His threes are a help. His threes are a help because he can go past you to the lane. He probably has one of the best. Him and Kyrie. When you talk about
he's not on Kyrie level, so don't even go there.
Oh yes,
he's not on Kyrie level.
Jamar said Ephraim making up titles. Ain't he?
Making up what titles? He's a great scorer. He's a great facilitator.
We'll give him shooting.
I'm not saying that he doesn't do all those things. The point that I made was when he said somebody is the greatest at one thing and put him in as he's automatically in the top 10. That's all I was just disputing that part.
Jamal, you like
Curry?
I think it's an argument. It's an argument for Curry to be in the top 10. It is an argument for it if he wins.
Curry messed up basketball. He messed up the game.
So did AI. There's a lot of dudes that mess up the game.
These dudes, you sit down there, you watch basketball, you got somebody run down the court and they got a wide open layup. What do they do? No, they stop and shoot the 3.
That's how stuff goes.
Got these dudes playing the NBA.
Remember when AI came out and he had everybody trying to cross somebody over, everybody coming down doing all this?
Jamar,
that's what boys do.
You're right. Jamar, is your name Kurt? Because everybody crack, but they got a problem with Curry shimmying, right? But at the same time, some of the greatest athletes that everybody liked was braggadocious. Muhammad Ali, braggadocious in and outside the ring. Floyd Mayweather. These dudes, it's Tim doing that. These dudes is braggadocious. Like, why do you get mad when Curry do it? People have
Curry ain't the best shimmier. Shaq used to shimmy all the time.
Great player.
First of all, the best shimmier was Mark Jackson. Mark Jackson had that thing on a lot.
Everybody didn't know Mark Jackson with them shoulders.
But you remember it though, don't you? But
I remember Shaq doing all. Shaq was the one that was always.
Listen, hold on. X-Men, I agree. But they all do it. You see dudes in the league, right? That's what I don't understand about the league. And we talked about this 1-6's game. I remember the game we was playing Minnesota. They was down 1 point with like 10 seconds left to go. Anthony Edwards has the ball and he shoots a step back 3. This is what the league is doing.
I know, Mr.
You down 1 point and you shoot a step back 3-pointer. That's the dumbest shot you could take of all time and end up losing the game. Go in, try to get an easy basket, try to get an easy shot. Why would you shoot a step? This is the Steph Curry factor. This is what he did to the NBA. This is what he did to the league. This is what he did to basketball.
People hate Steph Curry shimmy, but they love Deion Sanders high step. Deion Sanders didn't high step once he got into the end zone. He high step 10, 15 yards before he even walked to the end
30.
zone.
He was like at the 50 high step.
Everybody loves it. Steph Curry hit
Jamar.
Steph Curry hits a 3 and shimmies and people mad. I don't get it.
You're right, Jamar. Ephraim is what Ephraim right now is doing for Curry. He's ESPN and Curry. Like remember how ESPN used to make up all kind of stats for Brian? Be like, Brian is the first player on his son's baby mama's birthday to score 50 points and 5 assists. That's what Ephraim doing. Jamar said Steph Curry is the greatest player to play with a mouthpiece. That's what Ephraim going next. That's what he's gonna say next. He's the best slammer of a mouthpiece when he doesn't get to call his way.
The best player who wear their beard not connected with his beard, don't really connect right here. He's the best bull to do that. Yes. 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 The ironic part is Game 3, Steph Curry gonna drop a dud, and I'm gonna get blown up in the comment section. Like I can see it,
and I can't wait.
They coming. They waiting.
Listen. If Steph wins this, if Golden State wins this, there's no way Steph Curry won't get the MVP.
I don't care about those. Let me tell you, Yang, Yang. I don't care about those MVP or voting awards. I don't care about that because you could easily say, well, Steph Curry was the first and only league unanimous MVP in the history of basketball. Do I beat my chest on that? No, because Jordan should have did that. LeBron should have did that. Somebody should have did that already. Magic or Will or Kareem, whenever they start giving awards, they should have did that already. So I don't beat my chest on these MVP awards and final MVPs. You saw the stats. You saw what Draymond said. Curry was getting double teamed 7 times more than KD was. KD was running around free. I showed Wayne and Tim and Ethan the clips. Curry getting double teamed and KD getting singled and one. I sent them the clips. Maybe not Tim. But my point is, I do think he'll win MVP. But for me, that don't. What does that matter? That don't solidify his legacy. His legacy is already solid already. If he win this, he's definitely in top 10.
He definitely top 15. No lie.
I mean, that's cool.
To keep from being a prisoner of the moment, I would have to look at the whole list and compare it. I get it. What he balls, the way he balling out right now is easy.
You got Kobe, Shaq, Magic, LeBron in top 5, and Tim
Kareem, Wilt.
Kareem, Wilt. I gave you 7 right there. Bird.
You got Kobe.
I did Kobe.
LeBron.
Already.
He might be the
Kobe. It's debatable.
He's edging out Kobe.
Because like Ephraim said, he said take Duncan off. People have Duncan up in there, but
Larry Bird, Wilt. I might take Bill Russell off, but I know nobody want to hear that. Bill Russell.
Oh yeah, they love Bill Russell.
And Tim Duncan.
I mean, like I said, it's debatable. All I'm saying is before I would say that, first of all, he has to win it, and this series is not over yet.
13 rings or something. Bill Russell got 13 rings when it was 3 teams in the league.
But if he wins it, I would have to reanalyze everybody, all who's currently considered top 10 on my list and see. But they ain't win the series yet.
Yeah, it's tied. Which would we expect?
Yeah, it's tied. Boston with home court advantage right now.
Exactly. Boston.
X-Men, they don't want to hear that X-Men, so I don't argue that point. I just leave it alone. I just try to stick to errors.
Yeah, I know. But I agree.
Valid point.
Yeah.
Valid point, X-Men. He was playing against the little midgets, but that's neither here nor there. But that's why I say you I take errors in con. Even Jordan, truth be told, as much as people don't want to hear about it, Jordan a lot of times is playing against the defenders who was physically less gifted than he was. He was playing against
Craig Elo.
He was playing against Craig Elo and Mark Prices of the world and all that. Even Starks, as good as Starks and Peyton was, they were still 6'3".
Herb, you tripping on Larry Bird. I hated Larry Bird, and I'm not a big Larry Bird fan. But if you're talking about somebody that talk trash and back it up and that was big in big moments, Steph Curry is the greatest. Steph Curry is the greatest shooter right now. But Larry Bird, bro, like the shots Steph Curry, especially on threes, is because Steph Curry is amazing on threes. But if you go back and you look at what Bird would be doing shooting, he played one game like the whole game shooting with his left hand. Like he wanted the best player in the team and the other team to play him, or he felt disrespected. Like don't disrespect Larry Bird. Larry Legend was the truth.
Larry Bird was the bull, but I mean, he also had great teams as well. He had very good teams. So it didn't win.
But when his back went out, they wasn't winning no more.
Move back
didn't one of the teams. Didn't one of the teams. And
he had the Chief on there.
I'm not big on finals MVPs, but I say this as a reference point because that's what series I didn't watch. But didn't he lose finals MVP to somebody else when they won the finals? Somebody else won it on his team. Like, how impactful was the other player over him? Like, I don't know. Like I'm saying, Bird was a great player, but Bird had great teams. So, I mean, could he possibly be up?
I mean, you could say the same thing for Steph.
No, I'm just saying, but I watched the final MVP, and we all know Iggy. They talk about that to this day. Iggy shouldn't have won the MVP. We all saw it. I mean,
I think Iggy should have won.
Okay,
no, he frustrated Brian. That was a spite at LeBron.
Honestly, Brian should have won. Brian should have won it.
That was a spite at LeBron.
Brian should have won it. Brian should have won. Brian should have won the finals and the loss He should have won MVP losing that year for all he did. He carried that team like a mug.
DeMar Curry needed KD. You think so? You think this what kills me with that Golden State team, right? People say they needed KD. They were in
Central Media. You don't like you don't like. Go ahead, Eve, remind me.
They were a 73-9 team that lost in Game 7 in the finals in the closing seconds of Game 7. And you really think that they needed KD to win?
Did they win?
Did you think they needed him to win? That's a series. That's a series that could go either way. Once again, before you start coming in there, that's a series that could go either way. When you lose in a Game 7 in the closing seconds after you go 73-9, that's a pick'em series. That could have went either way. It's no way in this world that you could convince me or any logical thinking person outside of Tim that they actually needed KD.
Well, if they had KD, they probably would have beat Toronto.
I'd appreciate that last.
No, if they had Klay Thompson and get hurt and Kevon Looney.
No, if they had KD, they would have beat Toronto.
So of course, but if they had without KD, they swept Portland. They swept Portland.
I mean, this is my thing to the point that you don't sit here and say Larry Bird had this great team with him. Right now, we don't know who they're going to who's going to be a Hall of Famer from this Golden State team. If they win this many titles, you don't think that Klay Thompson's going to be looked at, Draymond might be looked at, whereas though you might not look at them players as being in the Hall of Fame. But now look, if they're part of a dynasty, you know how they start putting boys in there like that, you know what I'm saying? Because they was on that team.
Jamar, I don't know. Let me see if I can clear something up for Jamar. Jamar Oliver said they called KD. Actually, the one that called KD was Draymond. Draymond actually gave an interview, talked about it. I don't know if it was on his podcast. I know Ethan put it up. But what he said was he the one that he set up the meeting, and he had to get Steph Curry to okay it.
Yes.
He said it wouldn't have worked. It wasn't Steph Curry that called KD.
Thank you.
It was Draymond and, Draymond's team. And
but you know what was funny?
Hold on, but he said,
I know when you finish, I want to make a point about that interview.
He said it wouldn't. He said he couldn't even okay it. He said the only person that could okay KD coming was Steph Curry, and he had to get Steph Curry's seal on it. KD wanted to meet with Steph.
And that's why Steph is not a top 10 because he had to go get his big brother.
It just shows what type of guy and selfishness he is, what type of dude Steph Curry is.
That was that's somebody just wanted to get an easy victory. He wanted to get.
It was funny to me that they was talking about Steph Curry. They was like Steph Curry. They was like they had to get Steph Curry to be there. They said they had to get Draymond to get him to be there because Steph Curry don't pay attention to all that type stuff. Because remember how somebody was like Steph Curry make everybody better shoot Steph Curry. Steph Curry don't work with nobody else. Steph Curry worry about Steph Curry.
No, he said during the time. He said during Steph Curry's time off is his time with his family.
He ain't about it. Kobe was always about basketball. It's like I'm trolling.
Listen, my thing with that is once again, let's keep it a bean. So if somebody calls you and said, you know what, KD want to play with y'all, and the organization is like Bob Myers come to you like, yo, Curry, listen, we get KD on here, maybe we could do this. Chances of you saying no to KD, come on now. Like you ain't gonna say, you're gonna be like, oh, if he want to come play with me, like let him keep coming to me. I'm not going to him. Even when they asked Curry about LeBron, wanting to play with LeBron and all that, Curry's like, I mean, I'm good. Like I did that already. I got KD one. I don't need LeBron. I can do it by myself. He's showing he can do it by himself.
17 and 18 without Kevin Durant.
Where's KD at without them?
No matter.
Mike, once again, y'all trying to put story. Nobody.
How don't it matter where KD is?
I mean, so far, Steph Curry won one without KD, and he lost two when KD wasn't there. So,
how many KD wins?
It's about to be 3. It is about to be 3. All right, y'all, we're gonna wrap this thing up. We had a good time tonight. Before we go,
I mean, this is to me. Let me finish because you want to get your comment in. Let me finish. To me, this signifies everything. Them being back in the finals without KD. Them possibly winning without KD. I do think the biggest, and I'm not even gonna say a mistake on his part because I think he was kind of just not even pressured, but kind of coerced into getting KD on the team. Steph wasn't. I know Steph. I know Steph personally. I said, yo, did you want KD? He said, no, I didn't really want that boy on my team. Everybody else, wanted to come. So, but ultimately, listen. Ultimately, we see who the better player is. There's no question. It's
KD, and you know that.
It's no question.
All right. Anyway, Joel had successful surgery on his hand last week. This is just a Sixers note.
They did 0 without Curry. He's nothing.
The Sixers returned their 23rd pick in the NBA draft So we might even be trading it or put him in a Tobias trade. And so lastly, NBA is coming out for the girl Brittany Griner finally. So hopefully she get out of jail soon. But anyway, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Hit the notification button.
Anybody hating on Bird, go back and look at his stats.
Bird was a monster.
Look at his stats.
Marion Barber, man, that was a sad situation for him too, man.
Yeah, that's definitely. Did they find out what happened, or they just?
I didn't hear any reports yet.
He died. I don't know what happened. 38. That's too young.
He said he's having some mental issues and stuff like that, but
that's it. That probably is CTE. So you know.
Yeah, it's probably related. Yeah.
All right, thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. We out. Oh yeah, shout out to Ben Simmons.
No.